My name's Tate. Yeah, it's pretty sort of an average session. I've got a new board, so just trying to dial it in. I've had a couple of surfs lately. Last 3 days, it's sort of pretty wind blown. But come to Dbah here, there's always a good 15-minute window for everyone, so a bit of fun still. This is my local spot. I live at Tweed Heads. Yeah, like surfing Kira as well. The other places are a little bit too crowded, the ones that you're probably the Suburbs and so on. So yeah, good to get out Dbah anyway for a session. As a break, Dbah. I think if you can surf Dbah, you can almost surf anywhere in the world. So this is the spot where the best surfers in the world get the shorter waves, but do all the big manoeuvres and stuff off those waves. So it's pretty heavy for what it looks like. Sometimes you can duck dive a 1 foot wave and get thrown about. So you've surfed Dbah, you can pretty much gets you ready for anywhere. Bali, the places like Canggu and so on, the beach breaks, definitely. That's a funny one. I think nearly 30 years. I probably peaked when I was about 16 or 17, but yeah, just getting older, changing the boards, and living on the Gold Coast, you just got to learn how to surf and surf. So it doesn't have to be your major hobby or what have you, but when the waves are there, everyone's on them, so it's good to get amongst it. What was it? So when I was about 12 or 13, going into high school, I noticed that all my friends would surf and I'd be sitting on the beach, and that was pretty boring. So just grabbed a board. Mum put a few extra pennies aside for me, and yeah, it took about probably a good 18 months. When learning to surf, probably the biggest thing you got to do is make sure you do a full year. You don't go summer, time off, come back in summer. You've got to go summer through to winter, and by the next summer, you're on 2 feet. Yeah, I think start off on like a 6'2". I think I don't remember the actual board itself, but it was a thruster, and like the typical 90s style board. So they sort of were thick railed and they went pretty thin by the end of the 90s, and but now I'm sort of pushing towards the mid lengths just so you can catch more waves. So many people out with the advent of Surfline and so on. You get people coming from everywhere every weekend to the spot, so you've got to get more waves, and that's why I've got the bigger board now. Just actually, there's a couple of good surfers I like. One being a black surfer. All us black guys, a few of us around, we like Mikey February. He's a two-fin specialist, twin fin specialist, sorry. So I've got myself a twin fin. I've actually got a softboard from Mick Fanning as well, one of the 6'6s, and it took me a while to dial that in, but that's a lot of fun in the short sloppy stuff. And just recently I saw Mikey February on a twin fin, and I decided, yeah, it's my turn to get onto the bigger board version. And it's JS Big Baron is the one I'm on. And I got a friend of mine who he's been plugging JS for a while, so I've just sort of kept an eye on him. And well, I'm only 3 surfs in on this one, so the jury's not out yet, but I think it's going to be a good summer. It's hard to say most memorable surf. I like to go to Bali a couple of times a year, and it's sort of since COVID that's slowed down a bit. There's some amazing breaks over there, but you get a good wave here, it's as good as anywhere in the world. So in saying that, probably 6 months ago, on my Mick Fanning soft top, I got the biggest barrel of my life, and it was a fluke. I was holding on for dear life, but over the last 6 months, that's one of the most memorable moments I've had, because it's not something you see every day. Some guy on a soft board in a barrel, just for quite a while. It's a good 8 second plus barrel, so that's the most memorable of late. But surfing Bali and those waves over there, the Uluwatu's, not so much Uluwatu, but there's ones like Belangan you don't hear too much about. Just amazing, and they're just so consistent and probably a bit easier to catch as far as the crowds are concerned. Yeah. break in Australia. Look, I'm pretty much here. You know, your Snapper Rocks and your Rainbow Bays and your Green Mounts. My mum's up with Burleigh, I sort of catch up there. But they're the only ones I've really, saying that, northern New South Wales has got, probably don't want to let the secret out, Angary and Dbah. Had one of my best sessions I've ever had there. That was about 10, 15 years ago now. But that was an amazing place. Everyone tells me the Mentawais. I get seasick, so they're always on a boat with those trips. So I'd love to surf those waves. I'm just not game enough to. I don't know if I could do 4 or 5 days of seasickness. I'm sure it'd be amazing.